for our businesses and
Very good.
Dale City Chamber. Also, I do want to announce that Townsend is having their Tiger Trot again in October, Saturday, October the 28th. It's going to start at 10 a.m. It will be a costume edition, so you guys please wear your costumes. Yes, contact me and let me know, or the school for information. They are selling t-shirts for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to make sure everybody is aware that October is Pedestrian Safety Month, so just be aware of the pedestrians, kids walking, anyone on bicycles. And Wednesday, October 4th is Walk to School Day, so if you guys want to walk your kiddos to school, I will be doing that. And then it has really been a great time in Dell City these past few weeks. We had the commissioner, Carrie Bloomert, here. We had our insurance commissioner here as well. I mean, we had a lot of guests that came to the Dell City Chamber auction, so I'm really proud of our city. So thank you guys, and we've got a full house today. That always brings me joy to see so many people here, so it's fun. Thank you guys for being here.
All right. Councilman Finch.
Yes, I was going to mention the auction. It turned out very well. A lot of people showed up in costume, which made it even better. It was a 70s theme. She was all dressed in red with a little hat and wig. Mary Eason was all in a glittered gold shirt. It
Disco.
was quite a sight to see.
It was disco.
It was a lot of fun, and we raised money for the chamber. It was a good event. I also want to mention that the Dell City High School has been working relentlessly on cleaning up our city. They've cut the crepe myrtles down and cleaned them out on Sunny Lane. They cleaned out our Rotary Park garden this weekend, along with Michelle Caruso, she's on our planning commission. She's a great friend. Also, they were picking up trash on Sunny Lane. Another thing, Lieutenant Kyle Preston is collecting food for Dell City High School Homeless Student Pantry. If you can, drop some food off. It's needed very much. It can be dropped off at the Dell City High School in care of Lieutenant Preston or Tia Moore. And again, we have a trunk or treat coming up this weekend, October 28th at the Dell City High School. That's it.
All right. Very good. Councilman Dean.
All right, so let's see, I was talking with the city about our website, and so I'd just like to bring this up to everybody since we're having some issues with our current website and trying to locate it on Google and so forth. So they have, hopefully, we've come up with a solution from what I understand, and hopefully in the next week, when you type in Dell City, you'll get to the actual website. The problem is it's currently taking you to the old website, which is not being updated and has been obsolete. So with that being said, is that I did get onto the actual website. I did find the Frontline is Chief Berger's program to go and keep track of different things for crime, and I was actually able to use it to report several things that were broken, such as a street light being out or a pothole. And so what's nice is once we do get our current website working, I think that we can use that for citizens to make reports and try to get things to look better. And then from what it sounds like is we're going to be working for a better system or solution in the long term.
So, Michael, if a pothole is broken, isn't that just pavement?
That's right.
Broken pothole.
And then finally, with the pedestrians and stuff, I've been working with trying to get different sidewalks built for a long time. One thing that we noticed was that 41st and Corbett going across Sunny Lane, it turns out that there's no way to get off the current sidewalk, onto the street. So basically that part of the sidewalk's missing. And, but it would make things a lot safer and a lot better for all the kids and parents that walk kids to school to Townsend. So thank you.
All right, thank you. I don't know if you guys have been following Dell City High School football. They are undefeated so far this year. For Friday night, I drove to McAllister because the McAllister homecoming game featured the Dell City Eagles. What a disappointment for them. It was a great game. I should have bet a pie, but, okay. City managers report.
Okay, let's start off things with the most important part. We did receive a news today from the Oklahoma County Jail Trust that they have decided that the jail is going to be located in the OKC Airport Newcastle area, not down the street from Del City. So thank you all for calling that in. We very much appreciate that. That was a big issue of it potentially going off of Grand, and so now it has to go to the Oklahoma City Council and the Airport Trust. So please make sure you send out your messages of support for that new area. We would greatly appreciate that. But we did love seeing that come across KOCO this afternoon. That was a fantastic note for us. We did have a major water line break at 29th Street and Linda Lane. A special thanks to everybody from Public Works that went out there and took care of that so quickly. Thank you all so much. That was quite a mess. The street will still be closed, Mr. DeRoy, for how long? Okay, we still have some street closure there for some time, but we do appreciate everyone that worked with us and took care of that. The Public Works and the PD responded very, very quickly, and we do appreciate that quite a bit. Josh, you're going over DelQuest, so I won't steal thunder on anything that's going on there. Should I go over all my spots? Did you want to mention the lunch mob this Thursday? Okay. I'll let you pop up real quick so you can say it so I don't steal your thunder, because some of these are for you.
So October 5th, which is this Thursday, from 11:30 to 1 p.m., we'll be having a lunch mob at Casa Juanito, which is right off of 29th Street, just to the east side of Korean House. And so come out, meet some of your chamber board members, myself, city staff, council members, and members of your community, and it'll be just a good time and support a local small business.
Awesome.
They've got really good sopapillas there. Oh man, they're great.
And last but not least, one of our most exciting things, as of today, we are 100% staffed for the first time in years.
Wow.
I want to give a special shout out to Director Michelle Stoll and her staff. She has Madonna, she has Ariel, and she has Tracy. I will tell you, Ariel has worked her behind off to get us where we need to be. Tracy and Madonna have helped quite a bit, and I just wanted to get a shout out to those four ladies. This is the first time we have been completely staffed in a long
Ever.
time. So
Ever that I
Yes.
know of.
So where's the knocking on wood? It stays that way as long as possible. But yes, we are. But we are very appreciative of that, and I'm very appreciative of our HR department. That is phenomenal news.
All right, very good. City clerk's report.
I have nothing at this time.
All right, move on to item number 6, the consent docket. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve the following items by unanimous consent with one motion. Item A is minutes of September 18th, 2023 regular meeting of council. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the council of September 18th, 2023. Item B is minutes of September 26th special joint meeting of council and planning commission. Approve the minutes of the special joint meeting of the council and planning commission for September 26, 2023. Item C is a budget amendment. Approve budget amendment for fiscal year 2023-2024 as shown in Exhibit A to the council agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve items A, B, and C as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Item number 7 is presentation on DelQuest program. Discussion, consideration, possible action to receive a presentation on the DelQuest program from Josh Schultz. Do I hear a motion on this?
I make a motion that we receive a presentation by Josh Schultz.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The floor is now open for you, Mr. Schultz. Tell us what you can about DelQuest. Great program.
Is this on? Okay. Yes, so DelQuest is a program that the Del City Chamber has put on for the past 20 so years. What it is for high school juniors. They come in for 3 days in November, and they learn leadership skills. They learn how the city works, the state legislature works. They learn about Tinker, and they learn how to build a resume, network with people, and one of the cool things is, if you've learned how to set up a dinner and how to budget and things like that. It is a great program. So typically that first day, which is will now be Wednesday, the 15th of November, they'll come in around 4 o'clock. They'll get to know each other. They'll do a little icebreaker and kind of mix and mingle. We have 4 high schools, so Del City High School, Destiny Christian, CHA, and now we've added Cristo Rey as they have moved into Del City. So we have 4 high schools attending, and all 4 high schools have submitted applicants.
Homeschool?
What was that?
Aren't homeschoolers included? in
Yes,
it?
and homeschools are included as well.
Right.
And so everyone has submitted applicants, and that will, so we have about 55 applicants as of right now, and on Thursday, next Thursday, the 12th, we will have our interviews, and then we'll narrow that down to about 20. And so they'll come in that Wednesday, they'll get to know each other, do some icebreakers, and then all day on Thursday, they'll be traveling around Del City, go to the police department, fire department, Tinker, and be able to do things like that. There's a lot of cool photos that they get to take. They get to go on the AWACS. They get to use the Jaws of Life with the fire department. And they get to ride around in a patrol car with the police department. A lot of fun things that these kids will never forget. And then Friday, they get to go up to the Capitol. And they do some scenarios where they are given, whether it's a city task, a state task, or a federal task, and how they need to deal with it and talk about that. And that varies year to year. And I guess I will open up to any questions, because I found out about this a few hours ago.
So the city normally supports this. Are we going to end up supporting it again this year?
That'll be coming up at a future agenda, a future item.
Because
We're actually much more involved. The city's much more involved in it this year than it has been in the past. I believe JD is the chairman on the DelQuest. Is that correct, JD?
Yeah.
And the focus has shifted somewhat. This is a great program. It gives kids the opportunity to go out and make a budget. They get assigned an income, a monthly income, and then they have to prepare for transportation, housing, food purchases. And then we get to wreck their budgets for them. Oh, you broke your arm. It cost you $500. Just throw wrenches in their system. But it gives them a little bit of taste of what it's like to be in the real world. And it's a great experience for them. They get to talk with fire department personnel and talk about careers in fire department. They get to talk to the police department, talk about different crime scenes and how all that stuff goes together and works. Tinker gets involved and talks about a career in the Air Force and the opportunities for education and skills to be acquired in the Air Force. It's a great program for young people to really get out and see what's going on outside the classroom.
Josh, I think we've got a really great room of people, too, that I think would be very interested in helping in some way or maybe getting involved. And I do know that the students do not pay. Is that correct? They're
No,
for free?
this is absolutely for free, and also this doesn't take away their time from school, so none of these absences counts against them. We work very closely to the school district and as well as in the individual private schools, and make sure that these kids are able to go out, they're not missing anything. It is a time commitment. I mean, they're there from 4 to 7 on Wednesday. They're there from 7 a.m. until about 7 or 8 p.m. on Thursday, and then they're back up at 7 a.m. on Friday till about 3 o'clock. But there's no cost to them. Everything else is provided them, food and all that, and transportation as well.
How could someone donate their time or even their funds?
So if they would like to donate, they can reach out to me. And my email is josh@delcitychamber.com, or you can give the chamber a call at 405-677-1910. And that goes directly to my cell phone, so you can get a hold of me as well if I'm not in the office.
Will there be a mentor program this year?
Yes, there will be.
Okay, so we also will need mentors,
Yes.
I'm guessing, from the public. I know that some years we're lacking on those, so
Yeah.
that would be great.
So, yeah, we take mentor applications. You can reach out to me if you're ever interested. And so from now that we've taken over the chamber and I've been able to do these things, it's going to be a list of people that are just going to be consistently doing it. So that way we're not trying to figure out who and who can't mentor. We're just going to have a list of people and say, you're going to mentor these students. And that way we have people set in place that we can know and trust to be able to get these kids, learning about the real world and what it's like and the career paths in which they want to choose.
Very good.
And one of the interesting things I've seen about the program is the interview process. So you end up having lots of applicants, and then they actually are in competition, and they go before an interview board and
Yeah.
have a personalized, in-person interview to see whether or not they're going to get hired or get onto the DelQuest part. So
Yeah.
that's a very beneficial part for the kids.
It is, and sometimes that's going to be their only interview they have until they apply for their first job, whether that's while they're in college or when they first get out. So it is a good opportunity for them to, one, be able to know how to answer questions on an application, because there is an application that they are required to fill out. And also when we get there, they're going to be asked questions. I know JD sits on our hiring board, and they're very direct questions, and these students, even if they don't make it, get a very good opportunity to know what it's like to be interviewed. And sometimes, they may never get that until they're out of college.
Very good.
Well, if there are no other questions or comments or concerns, just want to say we appreciate the city's support, and not only just for DelQuest, but the auction and other events that we do, and we really appreciate city staff who has been extremely helpful throughout our events and helpful to me and myself, and so we really appreciate that. And of course, Pam and her people at PJ's Flowers, we really appreciate them as well, and thank you for your financial support of DelQuest and of the chamber. We hope we can continue that, especially now that we're making it more Del City focused. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Josh. Move on to item number 8, presentation by Base Connect LLC, DBA City Connect. Discussion, consideration, possible action, approve or deny receiving a presentation by Tony Whedon with Base Connect LLC, DBA City Connect, to learn about their secure software for municipalities to communicate internally and with employees as well as externally to citizens. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we receive a presentation from City Connect.
Second.
All
We have-
right.
We have a motion and, I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, sorry.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. The presentation is now open. Sir, if you'd identify yourself to the city clerk.
Yes, my name is Tony Whedon from City Connect. Thank you, guys. Council members, Mayor Eason, sir, good to see you again, and thank you for inviting me. You're probably wondering what City Connect is, so she said I had at least an hour, so I'll try and limit that. Totally kidding.
You may have an hour, but it's at the end.
At the end. Well, a little bit of my background. So this is me, and this is kind of my why. So I'm originally from Chickasha, Oklahoma. That's my wife of 20 years. I know I look like I'm 12 years old. I can rotate it, sir, if you'd like me to. You sure? They want to be able to see too. Go ahead. Okay. So I know I look like I'm 12 years old, but my wife and I are at 20 years of marriage. We like to joke about join the Air Force, see the world, because I'm from Chickasha, as I mentioned, and as you can see in the far left photo there, that's Vance Air Force Base, which is where my first assignment was, and I went there for pilot training, and while I was there, they said, hey, you did a really great job at pilot training. Will you stay here for 3 more years and teach other students how to fly? So my first 5 years almost in the Air Force were in Enid, Oklahoma, where we fell in love with the town there. Fast forward a little bit. This was a viral app. You guys may have actually used it. Over 191 countries around the world use this. If you ever changed your profile picture to the American flag or any country, France, Belgium, we built a viral software, and that's where I really saw behind the curtain of what social media does with our personal data. It was a little terrifying. Here I was an active duty Air Force pilot, and I had millions and millions and millions and millions of user data that came from Facebook. They gave me your first name, your last name, your email, your gender, your location, all of your friends list, and all your profile photos. That was utterly terrifying, especially at that time I was coming from special operations. So you can see some of the overlays there at the bottom. And I realize that the platform that connects us also divides, controls, distracts, manipulates. And some of you, I'm sure, love Facebook from a city management perspective, or maybe you don't. Most of the comments that we get from cities are, is there another option? And that is why I'm here. Before I jump into the live demo, you mentioned Base Connect. That was our core platform. It was really focused on our military troops. Originally, we were called Facebook. We were literally going to get sued by Facebook, so we had to change our name to Base Connect. In that, I got approached by some council members, city manager of Enid, sat down with the mayor, started realizing, hey, the same problem that we're solving for the military could be solved for cities as well. So City Connect was born, and I'll jump into the live demo here. So like any technology, I don't know, there could be bugs and things, right, that happen. We'll see. So I'm actually going to jump into my actual phone here so you guys will see real live data. Mrs. Parrott gave me some of your information, so you'll see something here at the very end. You can see City Connect down there on the bottom. I'll go ahead and open it up and just show you. Were any of you able to download it before tonight? No one? Okay, that's fine. That actually kind of, it'll be neat because you'll see what it'll look like if you use it for your employees, what it'll actually look like in regards to an emergency. I'm subscribed to a lot of feeds, so you can see this was an Enid update as of today. I actually posted one of your Del City trash pickup things. That was kind of an update from your Facebook page. You can see you can post pictures, videos, PDFs. I'll scroll down. You mentioned the water leak. That was last Wednesday, it looks like. So I had put that on the feed for you guys as well, so you can kind of see what it looks like. On this feed, you can decide who posts to it. So internally, you decide who the administrators are, and you decide who can see those. So whether it's just internal to city employees or external to all citizens. So that's our feed. On that feed, again, pictures, videos, PDFs, things. But if you notice, there's not likes, there's not comments, there's not shares. It's focused on enterprise communication. We need to get this information out, and not the negativity that social media can bring. I'll jump into the directory here. So you can come over here, we'll just select Del City. I just went to your website and I added like the city hall, and then I grabbed some phone numbers. So these are phone numbers that are publicly on your website, has your address, and then your website here that can open up. You obviously can add more information to that, but that's what the phone directory looks like. And then you can see as we continue to grow from city to city, more cities will be in here, so there may be a phone number you need to look up at Midwest City or Oklahoma City or somewhere else that you're working with. You can look them up here without having to go somewhere else. This is where you manage your profile. It's standard profile, notification, security settings. At the top right corner, you can see this is our messenger. So I have one unread message at City Connect support here. It says, have a minute to chat. When I actually open this up, you can see the time that it was sent. So if I come in here, looks like they sent it to me about 5:19, and I'm opening it right now at 6:30. If this was a group chat, you could see who has not read the message, so like unread messages, and that is actually connected with any city employee. Right now we have 80 city managers in the software, so if I was to come in here and say, we'll just say Del City, because all of you are in here right now, you can see here's the members that we've created. Mrs. Parrott gave me your numbers to kind of update it so we know who's who. And that's how we kind of verify people. But you can also say like city manager, I'll just say Del City, and you can see what populates there, or city manager Enid, if I can spell Enid correctly. And now you can see there's assistant city manager Scott Morris, and then city manager Gerald Gilbert. That's not available to citizens. This is only verified employees of the city, just so you know. And then the last functionality I want to show you is kind of our emergency functionality. The military term, we call it as a recall. We're deciding if we're going to keep that for the City Connect kind of civilian side, because we've gotten some feedback that recall sounds like maybe your car is getting recalled, or there's some sort of part that's recalled. But in the military, we do a recall during an emergency to get 100% accountability. So for those that are in here, I'm actually going to send a quick simulated emergency message here. I'm going to come down to City Connect. You're going to see I have a lot more groups here, all the counties here. We'll go to Oklahoma County. We'll come down to Del City. There's 9 of us in this group. It's going to come from actually myself, but the city manager, you could decide, or whoever you give administrator rights, they can decide who this message is coming from. And we'll just say this is a demo emergency. I'll just say this is a test. Now I can attach to this text a PDF, a video, a picture, a poll, a YouTube link. I can also request the exact location of where you are right now. Our military product has been used in a real live active shooter event, multiple tornadoes, COVID-19, base closures, ice storms, huge emergency type things. So that's our Base Connect platform. We're still growing on the City Connect side, but when it's location services, the individual has to allow it, right? So when they open it up, it says, will you allow for this emergency to share your location? And they say yes or no. If they say yes, you can see exactly where they're at on a dot. So you can imagine on a map, if there was a tornado that would come through, you could see exactly where people are that share their location. Not going to turn that on for now, but I just wanted to explain that's under the advanced options here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send. This sends out a text. It sends out a push if you have the app on your phone, and it sends out an email, so you can kind of hear the phones going off here right now. What I'll do is, I don't know if this is streamed live, so I don't want to share your actual cell phones. So I'll just kind of show you on the screen here. If you want to go ahead and click on that message, there's a link that says open here to read. And you can see these are the 9 individuals that it went to. I think I added City Connect support. So Claudia, you've already opened it. You can see right here, it's got a read receipt. And then on the screen, you see there's an acknowledge button there. When you click the acknowledge, there we go, right? There's open, acknowledge, acknowledge, open, acknowledge. And now we're down to Mrs. Parrott. We're down to City Connect support. Did you get a message in the back, or did it go to your... it went to your work, okay. Do you mind if I show your work? Are you okay if I show your work phone number live? Okay. So we'll simulate here that she's the very last person here, because you'll see City Connect support will open, and then they're acknowledged. So there's one person left, right? But imagine this went out to all 200 employees, right? There's an ice storm, you need to close down City Hall, and you only need emergency personnel, but you don't want to make 200 phone calls or texts. So we're down to Brittany. I can click on her name, and I can see there's her phone number. I can just click on it, and then I can call her and say, hey, did you get that emergency notification? No, I didn't get it. Okay, hey, City Hall is closed or whatever's going on. And then you see that button on the screen there. I can acknowledge for Brittany real time. And now I'm 100% acknowledged. And the way that works is it flows up the kind of chain of command. So depending on how you have your city set up, you know, water, sewer, trash, utilities, whatever. Think of a military base. You got wing, group, squadron, flight, all the way down to an element. So similar type structure in the city, so you get real-time analytics all the way at the top or just for your organization. So that's a quick demo. I'll leave it open for questions now.
So the concern I have is the subscription, is it $1 a month or is it $1 a year?
Per year, per subscriber, not to exceed city population.
So, yeah, on that part, on your next time that you go out to somebody, you might put down, you know, maybe charged out prorated monthly or something, but it looked like it'd be charged for everybody for each month.
Thank you for the feedback on
Yep.
that.
That's good to know. That makes it a lot more
Yeah, so
considerable.
just for clarification, so I sign up in July. The city pays that $1 for July, correct? Is that the way that works?
So the way it works is we really try to keep the pricing pretty simple. It's a $1,000 setup fee for the city. That includes 10 employees automatically, and you decide if you want to do all, I'm guessing you have a couple hundred employees. You're fully manned, it sounds like, but that's good. So that's $5 per employee per month outside of that 10, and then you pay $1 per subscriber per year, not to exceed the population, right? So if you do big events and other people subscribe to your feed, you're not going to pay more than your maximum population. I know I'm from Chickasha. They have the huge leg lamp. They may get 50,000 subscribers, even though their population is like 17,000. So I don't personally believe that you should have to pay for those outside subscribers. And our vision is that will drive traffic to your city, and then you'll make revenue on top of that, tax dollar wise. Does that answer your question, sir?
Can you go over the $5 per employee? So
Sure.
is that, again, that one is monthly?
That is monthly, that's correct, because that includes the messenger, the emergency recaller, the feed, the directory. The vision is that they'll be using this on a constantly daily basis. So you're doing a project over here, maybe you create a group chat and call it, you know, Works Project on XYZ, and you've got 10 people on that, and then when it's done, you're archiving that thread. So the vision of that, you're in a secure message environment. You're not using Facebook or something else. You're in a secure place, and you can use that consistently on a daily basis.
Would there ever be a concern for, like, not enough data, or whenever you're putting in pictures or something, where it would just say, okay, no, we can't, their bandwidth isn't enough?
No, we're built to scale. With our experience around the world with millions of people in 191 countries, we're ready to scale to millions of people or thousands of people. And then we're constantly getting feedback in regards to, hey, we want to, one of the feedback we got recently was like this, like a live stream. We've not built that in, so we're looking at, okay, what would that look like to live stream in our platform? And then we are approaching cities to say, hey, this is what the cost would be if we integrated this. Here's our current pricing model, but if we integrate this in, it's going to be a higher cost. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. And how many cities in Oklahoma have?
So right now, we've got 80 city managers in, but 2 full licensed cities of the city of Enid and the city of Watonga. We just released 2 weeks ago to citizens in the city of Enid, and we haven't even released it to the city of Watonga. Normally what we do is we onboard all of your employees, get them trained up first, and then the second phase of that is opening to citizens. So we're still in the new startup phase coming from the base cadet military side of the house. We're also here in Oklahoma. So born and raised, and I don't plan on leaving, and so getting real-time feedback. Just came back from the Oklahoma Municipal League Conference and got invited as a guest speaker there, and so that's where we got to chat a little bit more, but just really looking to partner with our initial first 10 cities. I don't know if our pricing will change. We're trying to keep it reasonable.
It's great to know that you've developed this and you're from Oklahoma. And
Yes.
Congratulations. And
Thank you.
thank you for bringing this to us.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Nope. Nope.
Super. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Move on to item number 9. It's a rezone, PCRZ 65723, and the address is 4412 Epperly Drive. Item A is public hearing portion. Discussion, consideration, possible action, approve or deny holding a public hearing on application for rezoning for the parcel at 4412 Epperly Drive from UR Urban Reserve to R1D, single-family residential with an attached garage by Williams Box, Williams Box, Forshee and Bullard, PC, on behalf of the applicant. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing portion?
I'll make a motion to approve holding a public hearing for 4412 Epperly Drive.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The public portion is now open. Please state your name and address.
Good evening, Caitlin Turner, 522 Colcord Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. Like you said, this is a rezoning application to allow a single-family home on this lot. In terms of location perspective, this is going to be the lot closest to the already developed neighborhood in the area. This zoning will match those homes that are also in the area. Essentially, the reason for this request is because that UR, that the city had designated it, wouldn't actually allow any development because this lot size is smaller than what's required under UR. So this rezoning application essentially just allows the lot to be developed as that single-family home. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval. Staff, of course, recommends approval, and we ask for your approval.
Okay.
Any questions or anything before I?
Nope.
Okay.
Kelly Abel, the city planner. Publication date was August 31st, 2023. The notice was sent to the property owners on September 6th, 2023, and there were no protests submitted as of September 15th, 2023.
Okay. Is there anybody here
Kelly.
tonight?
How did the Planning Commission go on this one?
Unanimous.
It was a unanimous vote. Yes.
Is there anybody here that would like to speak on this subject before we close the public portion? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion, we close the hearing?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The public hearing portion is now closed. Item B is ruling on application. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve with modifications, conditions, or deny application for rezoning the parcel at 4412 Epperly Drive from UR Urban Reserve to R1D Single Family Residential with an attached garage. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the parcel at 4412.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Congratulations. Move on to item number 10, specific use permit, PCUR 658-23, 107 South Sooner Road. Item A is the public hearing portion. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny holding a public hearing on the application for a specific use permit by tenant Rogie Burrell to allow the use classification of drinking establishment sit-down alcohol permitted in AC Arterial Commercial Zoning District. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion, we open the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The public portion is now open. Please identify yourself to the city clerk.
Hi, Roger Burrell, 107 South Sooner. I'm so nervous talking in front of people, sorry.
No problem.
Yes.
We're not going to throw anything.
Okay. I submitted an application for the special use permit because I'd like to have a drinking establishment by the Cholinos, Dr. Feelgood's, that shopping center over there. I feel like it'd be a good addition to Del City. I feel like it's the perfect location, plenty of parking, more upscale, so making it really like nice and pretty, get dressed, take pictures, this type of thing. So yeah, I'm open to any questions.
What type of establishment? I mean, are you going to specialize in anything, or is it
So it'll be a full-service bar,
full service bar?
and then I want to do to-go daiquiris. So I'll specialize in daiquiris. So it's going to be a daiquiri bar.
A daiquiri bar.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Will you serve any food?
No food.
So you can go in and order a daiquiri to go, and it's just in a little plastic bag. And
Yeah, it's, when I was at the last meeting, somebody said something about like grown-up Capri Sun pouches. That's really what it is. It is a pouch.
So it's
just like-
sealed.
Yeah, it's sealed with a twist top, with the, I don't know what it's called, but you can, when the seal is broken, you can see. But it's just called a drinking pouch, is what it's called.
Did you bring any samples?
I did not bring any samples.
I had to ask. Come on, I had to ask.
Yeah, no samples, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Now,
fine.
are you making it there with the seal, or do you?
Yes, so yeah, we're gonna make everything, I'll have like a menu and everything, getting the special daiquiris. I'll kind of do like a test run, obviously, if I get approved and
Now,
stuff, and we'll
so
pick.
with the seal and it being to go, I've ran into issues with open containers, different questions
For
like that.
sure.
So is the seal going to be able to pass Chief Berger's police officers to not have an open container?
Absolutely. If someone was to open it,
Then you know.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
And do you have anything at the place now, or is it currently a bar, so currently it's vacant? and
It's
then-
vacant, yeah. It used to be Pipe Dreams, I think. Yeah, it was there for about 20 years, I think.
Well, we're glad that you're here and look.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to
And
be
I've,
here.
and I've had several people go, oh, really? This sounds great. So
Well,
it
thank
looks like
you.
even some here might be excited. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this issue? Kelly, have you had samples?
I have not, but
Okay.
I would like to, if that counts. Kelly Abel, city planner. This application the publication date was August 31st, 2023. Notice was sent to the property owners on September 6th, 2023. There were no protests, and the Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve it with the modification that all of the alcohol and booze be kept indoors. Like not in the parking lot, not on the sidewalk, inside.
But but also with the exception of what you're taking.
Correct.
All,
Well,
all,
okay,
all unsealed.
All patrons that are in the establishment drinking need to keep it indoors. If they take it home, it has to be sealed.
So, it's kind of in our package as that's being the suggestion. So I think we need to make it clear that they can take alcohol outside the restaurant.
sealed package.
That's in sealed
It's in a
package.
sealed package.
If someone makes that motion when we get to that portion, then there we are, we'll put it in.
Okay.
All right.
I make
All
a
right,
motion,
edit.
we close the discussion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Councilman Finch, Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The public hearing portion is now closed. Move on to item B, ruling on the application. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve, approve with modification, conditions, or deny the application for specific use permit to allow the use, classification of drinking establishment, sit-down, alcohol permitted in the AC Arterial Commercial Zoning District. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve with modifications and conditions, to allow the use of a classification of drinking establishment, sit-down alcohol permitted in the AC Arterial Commercial Zoning District with the following modifications. Owner to stay in good standing with the commission, and the alcoholic beverages, beer and wine are to be kept inside the building except for in a sealed container, and that would be the daiquiris that leave the building. Alcoholic beverages will not be allowed outside the building in an unsealed container, the sidewalk, or the parking area.
Well
Second.
said. Good job. All right, sorry. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Move on to item number 11, determination of dilapidation, real properties. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve and ratify or deny the classification of dilapidation of real properties identified below in accordance with Dale City Ordinance 553 and Oklahoma State Senate Title 11, Section 22-112. We will take these. There are 3 properties. We will take them one property at a time. So we're going to do item number 11-1, 715 South Sunny Lane Road. Owner is Natardis Investments, LLC of Dale City, Oklahoma. And I will entertain a motion on item number 1.
I make a motion to discuss.
Okay.
Second.
Discuss. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean, Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. This item is now open for discussion. We are discussing only 715 South Sunny Lane Road. Okay. Are you going to present? State your name for the city clerk, please.
Good evening, council. I am James Limcooler. I'm the code officer 2 for the city of Dale City.
Okay.
So what we have before you here is the property 715 South Sunny Lane Road. I believe you should have supplemental photos as well. This is all 3 of these properties, but this property in particular, is properties that we have had continuous concerns with regards to the safety and welfare for the community, as well as the structure itself. Multiple attempts have been made over the years, both with this particular administration and with past administrations, to try to resolve some of these issues. Unfortunately, we believe that it is now time to bring these matters before you, since we do not feel that we have come up with any particular plan of action that would warrant needing additional time. As you can see through the photos for this one, there are multiple structural issues, holes in roofs, property being unsecured. There, I believe, is a small community park that is back around in that general area as well. So access for kids to potentially get harmed in. There's just miscellaneous junk and trash everywhere, open wood, potential fire hazards. Also, it being right off of South Sunny Lane, it is a very, very prominent feature going north on Sunny Lane here that is extremely publicly accessible as well. And if anybody has any questions or anything, I'd be more than willing to answer. Otherwise, that's our,
Does it appear that this property has gas tanks from old gas station?
I am not sure if the gas tanks are there. I believe it was a old garage. I don't remember, I am not particularly
It
sure.
was a gas station many years ago. It's been over 40 years probably since it was a gas station. I think the gas tanks were removed about 30 years ago, but I can't swear to it. I know the gas pumps were taken out about 25 years ago. So that's been a blight to that neighborhood. It's right at the entrance to the neighborhood. It's a horrible eyesore. And it seems like doors and panels are constantly being broken out. So,
And it is unfortunately continuously deteriorating over time as well.
yes, it looks like the roof is falling in on one section. Yeah, I'm familiar with that building. Is the property owner here? Would you like to address the council?
My name is Santosh Kumar.
I'm sorry, state your,
Santhhosh. Last name is Kumar. I bought this property in 2007. I had asked the city before, the city planner then said I could remodel the building. And that's when I bought it in 2007. But later they said, you know, they did not let me remodel it. But I finally submitted a plan in 2018, I think, close to 2019 before the pandemic started. And they did give me approval, but there was no materials available to remodel because of the pandemic. You know, Home Depot or any building materials could supply me any of the roofing material and stuff like that. So that got lapsed, you know, that remodeling permit. And I was working on it, being busy, you know, I could not get enough time to get a contractor and get things done. Ms. Callias actually told me to submit a plan. I was working on it, but haven't got there yet. So that's the situation.
So what is your plan? I mean, so during this whole time, it didn't get painted, it didn't get anything done to it.
You know, I did
And
fix
so
it up.
the question is how are you going to make this thing not be a blight on the neighborhood?
Ms. Kelly has told me to submit a plan with the engineer's approval, and I have got a plan, but it's not stamped by the engineer yet. So if you give me a little bit of time, you know, I can get it approved or submit it.
I'm looking at the pictures of this, and this building has been a blight for a good 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been horrible.
People
And
break into
you
it all
can
the
look
time.
at some of these pictures and see it must just be totally saturated with leaks.
Yeah, the
You've
roof
had
is
leaks
bad.
for the last 10 years in there. I can't imagine what the inside of that place is like, but I can see from the outside, that is blighted.
Yeah, the roof is really
I don't
bad.
think you're gonna bring that building back. I think you've had, when did you buy this?
2007.
2007, this is 2023.
Yeah.
You've had 16 years to do some improvements on this, and I don't see anything happening.
I fixed it up a little bit here and there when the city asked me to, you know, cleaned it up, but
This thing has been an eyesore on Sunny Lane for
I know.
years.
Yeah, you're right.
And
It's-
now the time has passed to come and bring a plan to remodel.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, but I don't see it being salvageable, especially with all the leaks and everything that's occurred through the last 17 years. So,
So
Okay.
what was your plan for this building? I mean,
My plan was to, the problem is, it also, it had to be, it's electrical, it's old panel, everything. So, I can't even get the electric turned on to work on it, or anything like that until I change the panel. So I need approval, stuff like that. But anyway, I understand your it took too long. And, if it need to be demolished, it need to be demolished, yeah.
And so with it being demolished, what normally happens is that amount of money kind of gets hopefully assessed or, goes towards the property.
Yeah.
And then, hopefully, my thought would be if you got rid of this, you could start over with,
Yeah, that might be a better way.
with a nicer place. Or have it demolished in an empty lot on a busy street and be able to sell it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Kelly, could I ask you a few questions, if you don't mind? Do you know the cost of the demolition for this particular property? And do you have record of how many complaints we've had for Mr. Kumar? And if we have had to pay for maintaining his property in the past?
So, James, apologize, I'll jump in a little bit in here. To kind of go back to your first question regarding the cost of demolition, we would not know until after such vote were to take place. Part of that is we would obtain 3 different bids from different wrecking services, and we would go with the lowest responsible bidder. But we will not know that until after any decision is made here tonight. With regarding to cases and city incidents, we have had 19 active code cases that we have worked on the property. There have been 4 police calls for services at this individual property. I was not able to obtain anything from the fire department at this particular date. We have had 0 abatements at it, and there have been 2 permits that have been issued at this property during its entirety.
James, come here a second. Come here a second. Is this photo right here, is that the roof?
Yes, sir, that is the roof.
The picture I'm looking at is just weathered and warped sheets of plywood. There's no roofing material. There's open gaps and spaces. That has to be completely saturated every time it rains. That's just been an eyesore forever.
I understand.
All right. Anybody else like to speak on this?
So if we, if we end up voting to declare it dilapidated, is there any recourse for the property owner at that point, or does it automatically go to demolition?
I mean, if you give me the opportunity to demolish it, I can demolish it, get it done by somebody.
Uh-huh. What now?
Do you have a timeline on that? How much time would you give him?
The voluntary demo agreement is still going to tear down the building, and it would just allow him additional time to pay off the balance. So it would just be 6 months to a year.
Wow.
However long he would approve to do that.
So we could give him 3 months to demolish it on his own, and then if not, then
we bring in the...
then
I don't,
we couldn't you automatically just make it, if it's not done in 3 months, to go ahead and authorize it tonight to move on to?
if you push that thing, it's gonna fall over. And really, at this point, I don't even think that he'd be able to haul off what falls apart. How can we guarantee that you would be able to haul that off in a timely manner? And then we're, gonna be doing it for you again.
It's a concrete block structure. It's not, the roof is bad, no doubt about that. The roof has to be replaced. I mean, if it's demolished, it don't matter. But the structure is strong.
I would doubt that.
Sir, if you don't mind, what's your profession?
I'm an industrial engineer.
Industrial
from
engineer?
India, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Anything else?
I'd like to say at this point in time, it's not safe for individuals, it's not safe for children.
Neighborhood.
It's a safety hazard.
Yeah.
My preference would be
I
to
can't
see this
imagine-
gone now.
I understand that, but one thing that he has brought up, and the code enforcement has, is that each time that they've written him up for a code violation, he has cured it. and so he has not been here for an abatement. Now, that doesn't mean that, I'm not trying to play down anything that he's done, but to give him, whether it's 2 months or 3 months, to see if he can get it down.
Here's the problem with allowing somebody to go in there in 90 days to tear it down. Once it begins coming down, once the demolition starts, now you've got an open structure that's open to the neighborhood children and to passersby, and it needs to be completed as fast as possible. Now we're talking about public safety violations. So when was this structure built? Do we have that record?
I think in the 60s, I think.
60?
I think so.
We don't know what kind of asbestos might be in there or some other material. It's been a service station, it's been a repair shop. There could be ground contamination from carburetor cleaners and things. This is a safety hazard, and it needs to go away, and it's not something that we should allow to linger in partial state for 3 to 6 months. I don't think that is in the public's best health interests. This needs to be come in, a professional company, clean it, assess the liabilities there, and take care of it and get done. So,
Mayor, if I could, I think there may be some misunderstanding with the voluntary agreement that we're talking about, but the voluntary agreement the city would still do it. We would get the bids, we would tear it down. It would give him additional time. When she said 6 months to a year, that wasn't to tear it down. It's 6 months to a year to pay off that cost.
I thought you were going to give him 6 months to a year.
No, that's not the point. We would
to
move
tear
forward.
it down, and I didn't want to see a demolition last 6 months or a year.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you for clarifying that. So you just want to be able to pay for the demolition after it's done. That's what you're saying, rather than have it.
I asked the contractor because I talked to Kelly before. So the demolition cost, they gave me a bid before. So I don't know what the city is going to charge me.
Yeah, we don't either until we get 3 estimates, but I think that's where we need to go. Okay.
And just to be clear, that building would be demolished all the way to grade. The only thing left would be the approach. Everything would be just leveled out to the ground.
Very good. Okay. I'm glad to see this finally coming around on this. That's been an eyesore for 17 years.
In general, the other part is whenever it goes out to the bids for demolition and you get big companies like Midwest Wrecking and a few of the other ones, it seems like it's a reasonable price for the amount that they do. So, I mean, I can't say what their bids are going to be, but usually it's not obnoxious.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I would entertain a motion.
So, actually, so I guess the last question about this discussion, so after we've done this and we now have heard from our city attorney about paying this off, do we need to do anything differently in our?
We need.
Kelly, a quick question as we do dilapidation. If they vote to approve this, as I recall, he has X number of days to perform it himself before the city takes over. Do they need to declare the date range that he has to complete it, or is that naturally built into the law? Which would be how many days?
He has 30 days to appeal and then another 30 days beyond that for the appeal of 60 days.
Okay, so if you all,
To go into a voluntary demo agreement, even though you declare it dilapidated, we can still negotiate that after this.
okay,
Okay.
so all you would have to do is vote to declare dilapidated or not, to approve, to ratify her dilapidation notice or to remove it.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion. No, I'll just make the motion. Let me just make the motion that we declare this property dilapidated and order its abatement or order its demolition. That's my motion.
Second.
I think Kyle got you on that. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. That building is determined to be dilapidated in order to be demolished. Can you take it from there, Kelly? We're going to move on to item number 11.2, which is 4640 Southeast 15th Street. The owner is Southwest 74th Property, LLC. I would entertain a motion. You want
I'll
discussion?
entertain a motion for discussion.
I'll second her motion for discussion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilman Gandy?
Aye.
Councilman Finch?
Aye.
Councilman Dean? Aye. Mayor votes aye. This item is now open for discussion. James, is this you again?
Yes, sir, this would be me again. James Limcooler again, City Del City Code Enforcement. So this property is the old Abuelita's Mexican Restaurant off of Southeast 15th Street. It is a property that is, again, another eye attraction coming right off the highway, off of I-40. You take that exit coming into Southeast 15th Street, it's right there. It's something that cannot be missed. Similar to previous property, this is a property that over the years has had continuous code enforcement issues, multiple police calls, a few fire calls, or EMS calls. This property we've actually abated a few times throughout my tenure here. We've abated it 3 different times. There's only been a few permits issued. I don't believe any of them have been in recent years. Property conditions have just been a slow and continuous decline. As you notice, that sign being fallen off and in a state of disrepair since 2018. The HVAC systems up on the roof have been routinely, I don't want to say robbed, but have been routinely broken into, property being unsecured, multiple vehicle violations, vehicle issues present in the parking lot. Lighting's not bad or not good. It is a blighted area and attracts blight. For that, you can tell the building is beginning to itself get into disrepair. The gables are starting to come down. They're starting to be rot, windows broken into. Even though some of the boardings that have been put up have been broken into on that. And this is all just from the exterior. Once again, we don't know what the interior.
I'm seeing 158 calls to the police department. This has become sort of a transient gathering point or something?
You would probably be better off with asking the police department on that. We just
Okay, that's
obtain
fine.
the calls of records. It could be from, maybe have been issues before in the past. Somebody dining and dashing, that could have potentially been a call, or there's been drug deals going on. I do not have any record on that. We just obtain the number of calls they have received.
I understand. Thank you.
But it is still a significant amount of resources that the police have been dedicating to this property. As you can see, again, HVAC systems being completely scrapped, and all this is just the exterior. And we have no idea what the interior is going to be like either. Leaks, people breaking in, has anything been stolen inside? We just do not know. But I mean, stolen wires, there's just a lot in there that again is a major blight to that particular area of the community and is a very prominent feature when driving down I-40 into our city.
It is. Okay. Thank you, James. Anybody like to discuss? Is the owner of this property here?
My name is Mahmoud Cohen.
Would you spell that for the clerk, please?
Mahmood. The last name is Cohan. Cohen.
And I'm Counsel Matthew Frisbee, Frisby.
Thank you.
Okay, one, we don't know what the city is alleging is wrong with this property. This is the first we've heard of it. As its counsel, a week and a half ago, I contacted the city code enforcement, and I asked them to email me photographs, explain to us what's wrong so that we'll have an opportunity to abate it ourselves. We haven't had that, unlike the case before. I was gonna come up here and say, unlike that case, we are none of those. Because if you look at the pictures, okay, it may be unsightly, but it's not dilapidated. The colors are horrible. Whoever chose those colors should have been shot. It's ugly.
Easy there, Counsel.
Okay, it's ugly, but it's not dilapidated, okay? We have, I don't know when the last time the code enforcement was out there, but Once we got this notice, what did you do?
I did everything. I took the sign down, I trimmed, when all the wood around was falling, we take all of them down as soon as I got this notice, because I'm using it as my storage. I have a lots of equipment inside. I know the people coming broken inside, but I cannot control them.
The property's secure. I have photographs of every door, there's a lock on them. Most of the doors don't have outside handles, so you can tell somebody's tried, okay? But you can't get into the doors or to the property. You have to open it from the inside. The ones that have outside handles are secured. The property is not dilapidated. But before we get there, like I said, we'd like to know what the city, why haven't we seen this? I would have loved to have that emailed to me like I requested, but I haven't seen it, so we don't know. So my first request would provide us with a copy of the allegations and give us 90 days to figure out how to abate it ourselves, because we don't know until you tell us.
You can have this page if you'd like.
I'll take it.
I'll give it to you. And it shows eaves that are open, allowing water penetration. Have you not seen that? That's an open eve right there. That's fairly obvious when you come up to the building. This is the refrigeration unit. It's been stripped of copper. Yeah, I would say you got a lot of problems there.
Council Frisbee, have you seen physically the building?
I was out there today. I've been out there 3 different times.
And you
I've
didn't
got
see these pictures?
I've
These
got our
pictures.
own picture.
There's a whole, why are there tires back here? That could be a really bad fire hazard. That could just blow the whole thing down.
Somebody broke the door open, that the water hit the tank was there.
Uh-huh.
The water hit the
I
tank.
see.
And they pushed some water, tire over there. We don't know where they come from.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to hide it over there.
Yeah, I think those are the kind of things, the building right next door is a very nice business that we have here, and they keep, their front very nice. They're always mowed. I'd like to, what do you plan on doing with this building in the future? Because it doesn't seem like anyone has been able to successfully run any kind of a restaurant or anything from there.
I had a plan to do something. Unfortunately, we get this notice.
They're actively, it's actively for rent. I've got pictures of the lockbox showing where the realtor can come in and get the key to the place. This is outside.
And have you asked the realtor why no one's actually gotten the building? Do you know why nobody's rented that building out?
The last time was Abuelita's Mexican restaurant over there, and then, I don't know, for some reason they didn't be successful, they moved out. And we tried to find a tenant. Actually, we already have one tenant. We are working on their application, background check for them, and we are planning to clean up inside and remodel it and bring it back to the restaurant or bar and grill.
Kelly, can you request an inspection on the property and have an engineer sign off that the structure is sound? And then you formulate some sort of plan to bring it back up to where it looks like a decent structure, because right now it looks dilapidated. And maybe you could, in your plan, you could throw some paint on it?
We can do that, but
So why don't you meet with Kelly and work out a plan to rehabilitate that building and see what you can do, and then we can table this. Let's table this for 30 days. Is that enough time for you guys to get a plan together?
And have it inspected? Okay.
A structure.
We'd like to be present, obviously, for the inspection.
You knock yourself out, yeah. Yeah, but let's make sure that the structure itself is sound, and then you present a plan to Kelly to get that thing looking like it's inhabitable, because right now it looks like a deserted building, and it's an eyesore right at the entrance to Del City. And in 30 days, we'll bring this back to the council, and we'll take her recommendations, and then we'll vote on it. So for right now, I would entertain a motion to table this item number 2 for 30 days.
Mayor, I would like to also suggest, if you would clean it up, keep it cleaned up, mow it, so the citizens,
It's already done.
but, yeah, just, But
You-
we get
you've let
complaints
that
all the
thing
time
go.
from citizens for this building looking the way it does. I mean, I'm sure you don't live next to a building like this. We live here in this community. We have to look at it every day, not just when we drive in here.
So when did you purchase the property?
Oh, it was 19, I think, no, 2004.
Right, and so from my understanding, the last tenant has been, what, 6 years ago, 8 years ago?
Yeah, we've been, have a restaurant, we had a breakfast, lunch, and dinner on that one. And then we rented.
And has it had utilities ever since they left, the last 8 years? Has there been electric, has there been electric or
No, when the
or
Abuelito
gas?
left- When the Abuelito left, that we didn't have a time to, they didn't notify us they are leaving. They just left, and 1 month later, we tried to collect the rent, they were gone.
Right, but there's no utilities on it.
Yes, no.
So your water has frozen, and all the pipes could probably be,
No.
and that would be,
Well,
then that would be
okay,
found, and that would
okay.
be found,
Let's approach this like this. Let's let them get an inspection done by a professional person and figure out what it's gonna take to put that building back into service. In the meantime, throw some paint on it, clean it up, clean up the property around there, get the old tires out of there. We will table this for 30 days. It will be on the agenda again in 30 days. By that time, you reach an agreement with Kelly on rehabilitating that property, and if she accepts your plan, then that goes a long way with us. All right?
Just a second, city attorney, just a second, we've just now ordered them to paint the thing. Do we want to actually be telling them to paint the thing if we're going to end up dilapidating this and erasing this thing?
I took that as a suggestion, not an order, so I don't think there's
Yeah.
any concern there. I think we table this for 30 days, we'll bring it back, and then we can
Let's
determine what
say,
orders.
you know, if somebody were to paint that at a reasonable, if, refresh the paint, let's say refresh the paint, it would go a long ways with this council.
It would, but it's
We're
not.
not ordering you to.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I mention something?
Sure.
It was, I don't remember when was, a few years ago, Mr. Zane, he used to work for the city of Del City. They send the inspection.
Oh, I
there.
remember Zane, yeah.
Yeah, he came and they said that the building needs to be stable, and I hired the city manager construction. They came and we put the beam, the whole big beam, you can see it from outside, the whole around the building.
I have no knowledge of that, and I don't think it's ethical for the city manager to have a construction company
Yeah,
in
no,
Del
they
City.
called me, they think you
Oh.
need to hire.
Okay, all right. Listen, get with Kelly, get your plan together, and then work that out with her, and in 30 days, we're gonna review it.
Okay.
It'd be November 6th. I will entertain a motion to table this until November 6th.
Make the
Second.
motion.
I'm sorry,
You made the motion?
no, I did
Yeah,
not.
I'm making the motion to
Kyle,
table
okay.
this until November the 6th.
Thank you, Kyle.
Second that motion that Kyle did first.
Any discussion? Yeah. That's why they give me this hammer.
Thank you.
Should we move it and give them 45 days and move it because November the 6th, you and Sherry will be unavailable? Could we move it to the 20th? Is that the next?
Gentlemen, we're changing the date.
Kelly, will you tell us November 20th, not the 6th?
Will you amend your motion to November 20th?
I amend my motion to November the 20th.
Will you amend your second till November 20th?
I will amend my second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy?
Aye.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilman Finch?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. This is now tabled until the November 20th agenda. Okay? Discussion only. On the next item, item number 3, it'd be 11.3, is 5519 Southeast 15th Street. The owner is Gray Leona B. Revocable Trust. And this, I will entertain a motion for discussion only.
I make a motion that we discuss 5519 Southeast 15th Street.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy?
Aye.
Councilman Finch?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The discussion is now open. James, are you presenting on this?
apologies you have to deal with me for a third time. This address in question, 5519 Southeast 15th Street. It is the old pawn shop on 15th Street as you're heading east. Again, another prominent location coming into Del City, whether you're coming in off of Sooner or coming in off of 15th Street from Midwest City. Very large structure on that north side. As you can see, again, with this property, over the years, it has slowly deteriorated in its decline as we get into our present day. It has been broken in several times. You can see that the property has been boarded up in several different places. From the exterior, it appears as if somebody has gone in and started looting, scrapping, stealing wiring, stealing electrical. Conditions of the exterior of the property, reprehensible overgrowth growing into everywhere, growing into the electrical panel boxes, growing in to all the different structures. Drastic need of some tender love and care, and when you have, again, a building like that next to a residential area back behind there, it just becomes a potentially blighted area and a high-traffic location.
Yep.
To point out on this one, code cases have been relatively minimal, but we have had 929, and we've confirmed that 3 different times, 929 police department calls, 27 fire calls, no past abatements, a few permits throughout the time from when it was in operation, but nothing as of recent for bringing the property into compliance.
All right. Is the owner of this property here?
While I have you, when was the building built? Do you remember?
So this building, apologies, give me one
It's a
second here.
Volkswagen dealership, wasn't it?
I believe so.
It was a Volkswagen dealership.
That would have been air-cooled Volkswagens.
Yes, I confirm it is 1970 on the tax records.
Okay, all right, thank you, James.
Pardon me?
Are you representing the owner?
I'm the broker. I'm Ray Wolf. We do have the owner here. She's asked me to say a few words on behalf of the issue. First of all, thank you all for the opportunity to come down and meet
Excuse me, is
council.
that W-O-L-F? Your last
You.
name? Your last name?
You.
W-U-L-F.
U-L-F. I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't know I needed to bring enough cards.
The city
to pass out
clerk
to
will
everybody.
record, the city clerk
I
records every name, we're
understand.
just trying to get it right.
I'm out of cards. I started
That's fine.
passing
Go
them
ahead.
out earlier. Not an ambulance chaser. We appreciate, also I want to commend Mayor, your staff, for the help and assistance they've given myself, the owner. We're happy that, and elated, we have this site under contract. It went under contract earlier this summer, and the buyers are proceeding to go through their, what they consider feasibility period, and they've already started another phase 1. We had completed previous phase 1 several years ago, and they have just recently, in the past week, completed that. It was the same indication as what we came up with. There's going to need to be a phase 2 done as well. So I don't have a time frame on that. I'm not here speaking on their behalf, but I am here speaking on behalf of, the contract. It is under contract. There's not much I can share with that, other than we're just doggone glad to have the thing under contract and have a decision made on this thing at some point in time.
That's zoned commercial property. Your contract is with a person that fits into that commercial zoning. We're not
Correct.
gonna ask for any variances or special zoning, right?
Not that I'm aware of. They have not said to me anything other than the current zoning is what they have proceeded forward with the contract.
You
I'm
have
not aware that they're going to ask for any type of zoning change.
What's your plan for this property? Are you planning on taking the building down, putting a new structure up? Are you thinking about
Well,
remodeling
I'm
this
not the-
structure?
I'm not the buyer.
So you don't really have anything for us?
Mayor, appreciate the questions, that hasn't been disclosed.
So whenever you lose the
Not been
building,
disclosed.
whenever you lose the building and the building's gone, is your contract going to be null and void because they needed the building? Or are they buying the building or are they buying the land, and do we need to be
Councilman, that is, anytime that there is a change from the time a contract is executed by both parties to the time that it either closes or the contract terminates, then anything that transpires to the property, changes property during that period of time, has the probability of killing the contract, either killing the deal, or some other type of legal issue may come involved there. I'm not an attorney, so I can't speak to that. I'd have to defer over here.
And if I could, they have legal counsel. He was not able to be here tonight, but we talked to him this afternoon. This is under contract. I think to answer your question, I think the buyer is anticipating using this building. The request of the attorney was that this be tabled. Their due diligence runs, he thought, at the beginning of December. They're asking this be tabled for whatever period of time the council will. I told him I could not make any assurances of that, but that I would give you guys that information.
You know, I'm familiar with that property, and I've seen several people try to make offers on it. We've seen people try to buy that and put reputable businesses there. I'm not sure that the best interests of the city are served. I don't know what your contract is, but make sure that it matches the zoning that's there.
Can't speak to that, Mayor.
You
What I
can't really
can-
tell us anything, can
What-
you? All
It's-
right.
Truthfully, it is.
Just take the
It's
fifth.
confidential between the buyer and seller at this point in time. However, I have no validation that the building would be used in its current
It won't be used in its
form
current because
or-
it will not pass code inspection in
or
its current
shape.
form. So,
And again, I can't speak to that. What I can tell you is I have no validation. Whether
Ray, I get it. I got it. You can't answer any questions. I got it. I
Or
understand
whether it
that.
may-
You've explained that very well. Now, here's what I'm telling you. We're looking for a plan. This building cannot stand as it is. It has to be renovated or replaced. And I'm looking for a plan, and you can't tell me anything. Is there anybody that can tell me something, or do you just, are you done?
Is your client,
Is your client here?
Is your client willing to spend a large sum of money to?
The buyer is not here.
Okay,
The
all
buyer
right.
is
Thank
not
you
here.
for your time.
No, so is the owner who's going, because is the owner here who is willing to spend a large sum of money to get this thing not dilapidated?
Any change made,
Well, again, the real estate contract, we're very familiar with those. It's not over until it's over, and
What
so,
we would-
so it's not
what we would-
sold.
yes, Councilman, what we would humbly ask, Mayor, is if we could possibly table this until January 1, and then we would know during that period of time, I would expect you all to have an application from the buyer.
With an application, we're going to have to see a plan on what's going to happen to that building.
Correct.
I think January 1 is such a long time. We're going to be going through the holidays. You know, if we can just continue to keep that looking as best as possible. I mean, right now, I know it's, you know, it's like putting lipstick on a pig, but we've got to be able to protect our community,
But-
protect the neighbors, and
Yeah.
then, you know, just clean it up at least, and let's make sure that we keep the grass cut, board it up. You know, there's a lot of windows there, so.
Okay.
Yes,
hold it.
Mayor,
Don't-
your turn.
No, don't give any directions. Don't give any orders. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Now, Kelly, would you come up?
Suggesting, please.
Thank you. Kelly, would you come up and speak to us on this subject?
We have worked with Mr. Wolf and Mrs. Gray throughout this process for roughly a year or more. Every conversation that we have had with them, just so you all have all the facts, has been that the building is in a dilapidated state and would need to be demoed regardless of who the new owner is. Last time Mr. Wolf and I spoke, he did disclose to me that he did not tell the potential person that's buying the property that the building would need to be demolished, even though we had talked about voluntary demo agreements and such. So it is a definite public safety welfare issue for
Agreed.
the city of Del City and our residents. And as you can tell by the number of police department calls that have been out there, we are putting our men and women of the police in danger when they're going into that building because it's not safe.
That's got to be some kind of record, 929 calls.
Yeah, we have to date not received any applications in our office for the potential new tenant that has purchased the building. Since he had said it's under contract, we have received one zoning verification letter request into our office. No indication that that person was a buyer, no different than anybody else that would ask for zoning for that particular address. So I can't say one way or another if that's actually their buyer or not, but we have received one zoning verification letter request since they said they put the building under contract.
I would say that, I had asked for clarification on if we had any recourse. When we've asked for it to be mowed and we've had to have it be mowed, it looks worse after it's been mowed. So it's really a blight on the neighborhood. This is our area that we're really working to redevelop, and I think that this is something that needs to go.
My issue
Mike?
again is, if this was sitting next to your house, would you be happy with
This
this?
is
Our
sitting-
citizens have to drive by it every day.
is, Mike.
This is sitting next to my house.
Right.
Yes.
So my concern is if we waited until they already signed a contract and passed the cash off, and then all of a sudden we decide it's dilapidated and tear it down, that almost seems like we're hiding this action, keeping it concealed until it happens. It seems like they have been notified many times to have this thing fixed and removed,
I believe the city has done its due diligence on attempting to be as helpful as possible with the incentives that we've offered, with the everything that we've done with this property. I feel like at this point, it's time for the building to go, and it's time for us to hopefully be able to move on and help Mr. Wolf get a tenant.
I happen to know that we have pointed several viable buyers to that building, and I'm not sure it's gone anyplace. I'm not sure you've even talked to them. And I'm not going to get into that. But this building can't stay in the condition that it's in. The very least, the very most minor thing that you can do is get the building secured. Close in all the places that keep getting broke into. That doesn't mean the building's going to last. That doesn't mean we're not going to declare it dilapidated. But right now, it needs to be secured. I shouldn't have to tell you that. You're a real estate broker? Is that what type of broker you are?
Yes,
Really?
Mayor.
Okay.
May I just, for some additional information, share with you. Every time that we've been notified that somebody has broken in, whether it's a window busted, whether a continual door being broke in, we have sent workers over to board that up. Most recently was a week ago, and we boarded up, had the door secured, and found it busted back open again within 24 hours. So, I mean, it's been...
You're arguing for the wrong side now, because that's telling me that that is a site that
No,
needs
I'm
to be
not.
eliminated.
Yeah, I think that even that just proves the point that even boarding this property up
Yeah.
is not sufficient.
I mean, we've tried, was all I was trying to share with you.
If I'm ever in trouble, don't argue for me, okay?
Mayor,
All right, do you have something else to add?
only to the structure itself. We actually had a engineering group look at this back in 2015.
Did you say 2015?
Correct. And I have, if you would like to look at it, their summary, if it's of any interest to you at all. I had copies made earlier.
I'd be more interested if it had been looked at in the last year. Not 8 years ago.
I just bring it to your attention.
All right, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
I would like to say something, please.
yes, ma'am.
I think that you are attacking my realtor. I'm not sure why. I would like to know over what period of time were these 900 police calls recorded?
Yeah, I
Over
don't,
what period of time?
I don't have that information in front of me, and if you feel like I'm attacking your representative here, I apologize for that, because I did not mean to attack him. I'm
Thank you.
frustrated from the lack of information that he's able to provide for us. He's not given us a fact for
My-
your case.
My understanding is that the terms of the contract are confidential
Okay,
and that the buyer has stated that possibly they will demolish the building. If they do not, they will renovate the building. But while it's under contract, if I were to demolish the building, that contract could become null and void.
can you,
And I wouldn't
can you
have a buyer.
disclose the length of the contract? Is there a time that they
Yes.
must act?
The feasibility period expires December 26th.
December 20, the day
Yes.
after Christmas?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's
But
something.
I would like to know about these police calls, because I've only taken possession of the building since November of 2021.
Okay,
During that time, the acceleration has been monumental on how many break-ins have happened there. And it's a 12,000 square foot building. It's prohibitively expensive to board it up. It would cost thousands.
the problem is if it's not secured, it becomes a public nuisance.
I understand. I understand. In the worst-case scenario, I'll do what I can to secure it, but I'm going to have to take time to get the money to pay for it.
Ma'am, for our information, are you trying to save the building?
No, sir. I think the building should go. I really do. But it's under contract. I can't demolish it now because the contract could become null and void while they're inspecting it. Give
It
us,
just-
give
Thank-
us a few, give us some more time. I can keep it mowed. I can keep it,
Can you keep the building secure?
I don't believe you could keep the building secure, sir.
I'm not trying to.
Right, we're not joking around about this
No,
part.
I
What we're saying is it has to either be secured or torn down. So if you can't secure it and you're not willing to spend whatever it takes to secure that building, we've got to do the public safety and tear it down. And I don't think the tearing it down should be, logically, it's not going to be too much of a detrimental to your contract. Nobody has wanting to go and move into that part, most likely.
We have a
But
very,
we can't be for sure.
I think Del City and this general area has a very determined group of vagrants who are bent on destroying everything that isn't under lock and key.
I agree with you.
And
And that's
I'm
why we-
unfortunately a victim of that.
I understand.
I can get some estimates on what it would take to physically board it up. We've had vandals take the screws out of our boarding up to get back in. I've called the police. They, the extra watch time lasts 2 weeks and you have to renew it. I suspect that they're overworked and they can't pay that much attention to my building. The building is a mess. I acknowledge that. It was not a mess when it became vacant. It had many hundreds, thousands of dollars worth of good things in there that have since been pillaged. It's just gone. But I certainly would do my very best to secure it as soon as possible, to make it impervious to these determined vandals. I think it's like a game with them. I really do. I board it up, weld it shut, and they come back and find another way to get in. But I should have final information about the intent of the buyer by December 26th. I would ask for that.
So
on
we
the-
shouldn't have to go to closing to find out what their intent is.
No, that's
And
the end of the feasibility period. They will tell me then whether or not they're going to play or pass.
Right, and so unfortunately to me, if they're only in the feasibility part of this isn't even a contract yet.
It
So
is a
this-
contract.
I mean, for us and for the likely, for the good well-being of the city. We know that many times somebody throws out an offer and tries to tie something down for a while and then backs out. And so my thought is let's table this for 2 weeks and have them come up with the answer from the buyer is can they,
Let's go November 20th with the other one. We can
right,
table
November
this till
20th. And November 20th is the plan is.
I would
Go
greatly
back and tell
appreciate
us-
that.
The
Come
plan
back
is,
and tell us if they're gonna remodel it or tear it down. We gotta have an idea of what's going on there because
Okay.
it's sat too long.
I understand. My
And-
hands are
and-
tied, but
Sure.
perhaps the buyer would be able to give me some idea.
If they
he
wanna
backs
keep the
out-
building, they need to step up.
Exactly. And if they don't want to keep the building, then they better commit to letting me be sure they're going to close on the building and then tear it down. But it won't happen anytime soon.
Well, by November 20th, we will table this till November 20th, and then
Thank
you
you.
come back with somebody that can answer questions or yourself, and then we can have a good discussion on it. Right now, we have no information on this, and that's what's frustrating.
I appreciate your consideration. I will be here on the 20th.
Thank you, ma'am. We have to make the motion.
do we have an obligation, or Mr. Wolf, do you have the obligation to notify the buyer that we're considering of demolition?
Yes.
You do have the obligation. Thank you.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion that we table this until November the 20th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. This item is now tabled until the meeting November 20th, right before Thanksgiving. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on. Item number 12, I'm going to read in the form of a motion. And it's discussion, assess abatement cost to property owners, item number 12. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve and ratify or deny and remove assessment costs in a total amount of $4,882.93 to property owners for cleanup of property previously abated in accordance with Dale City Code 13-106 through 13-114. And I'm going to read this in the form of a motion to assess the cost of the abatement. So my motion will be to assess the cost of the abatement to these properties. And we'll begin with property number 1, 825 Briar Lane Road. The owner is Breed and Buddy Barber of Dale City, Oklahoma. Total expenses, $1,019.54. Property number 2 is 4708 Gina Place. The owner is Unity Properties LLC of Oklahoma City. Total expenses are $1,929.54. Property number 3 is 1601 Hannah Drive. The owner is Prairie Property Solutions LLC of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The total expenses are $919.54. Property number 4 is 1405 Mallard Drive. Owner is Sandra Property LLC of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Total expenses are $484.77. Property number 5 is 4721 Michael Drive. The owner is Prairie Property Solutions LLC. The total expenses are $529.54. And my motion is to assess these costs to these owners.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Move on to item number 13. Monthly update from the Chief of Police. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny receiving a monthly update from the Chief of Police. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve a monthly update from Police Chief Berger.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Chief, what do you got for us?
Evening. Kind of update where we've been the last month. September 7th, I hosted the Metro Chiefs Monthly Meeting at the Community Center. All the chiefs from the metro area, federal, state, local, all met. We discussed ongoing trends, crimes, problems here and there. Big turnout, about 50 of us together, held breakfast, so it was a good meeting. We do that every month and go to different places, so this is the first time Del City got to do that, and I was proud to be a part of that. Also, last month, myself and 5 of my supervisors attended FBI LEADA training, which is supervisory and management training sponsored through FBI leadership. This was my 3rd course, along with Major Arterbury's 3rd course, so we received our Trilogy Award for completing all those courses. We're on the way. The next one I will have, once I get Major Cowden through those, my whole command staff will have their Trilogy Award, and we will receive a department award, Trilogy Award from the FBI LEADA. So we're on track to do that, hopefully around the first of the year, once we get that done. I think there's only 1 or 2 agencies in the state that can claim that title, so
cool.
It's in my sights. If you didn't know, the month of October, the state has declared Domestic Awareness Month. So there's several things going on with that. The Oklahoma Department of Safety is holding their annual conference and awards banquet this week in Tulsa. It started Sunday, runs through Thursday. If you'll remember back earlier this year, I gave one of our dispatchers an award, Heather Mitchell, for handling of a 911 call that was a domestic violence call. She is being honored this week, Wednesday. She's being honored by the Oklahoma Department of Public Safety for her response and handling of that call also. So she's getting state recognition on that, and we're very proud of that.
Cool.
We'll be going to a conference tomorrow at the Oklahoma Attorney General's office, and that also will be a ceremony, an award ceremony. I've got to give some recognition here to Miss Cheek, Darla Cheek. She is with Middale Family Youth. She is an advocate, domestic violence advocate for the city of Del City, Midwest and that. We use her on a daily basis. I really don't know how we done it before when we didn't have her. She has been such a great asset to the police department. She's invaluable at this point. We can't do the job without her. She works closely with the officers and that. Very valuable asset for us. She'll be there with us tomorrow. We're going out to the Attorney General's office. There's a press conference and awards banquet. We do have an officer on the agenda to receive an award tomorrow, but I don't want to give that out because he doesn't know at this time. So I can give you more for that. Palomar is the one that sponsored that and put our officer in for that award, and we've been a great big partner with Palomar. Been told that we are kind of the leaders in the state for domestic violence response on how to investigate and prosecute and get things to the district attorneys for a crime prosecution. I hope we are. We're doing everything we can in it. My assistant chief, I sent him to Lawton here last month to speak on my behalf on this same issue. They want to form more programs like we have. So he went down there, he taught, he spoke on behalf of how we're got things going here. He's currently right now in Durant doing the same thing. They have a crisis response unit down there similar to our Palomar, and he's letting them know how we're doing things and what kind of response we're getting. We're being the example out there for other departments to mirror and show how we're responding to this kind of crime. Upcoming next month, the 13th of this month, we have the DCHS Homecoming Parade. Starts at 1400, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'll go through the neighborhoods. Usually comes down Epperly, right by the fire station, back out on Sunny Lane there off of Dell Road, and back to the high school and ends right there. I'm sure we'll have that same route, have officers' presence and begin closing down roads as we move through the neighborhood and then up Sunny Lane. McDonald's is holding their fundraiser for Shop with a Cop. Ron, what day was that? 17th? 17th, yes. 17th of this month from, I believe it's 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And any proceeds will go to our Shop with a Cop. And our Shop with a Cop, we got scheduled today. And I believe he told me that was going to be December. We finally got that on a schedule, got Walmart to work with us on that. December 9th is our Shop with a Cop. We'll be working with the schools and the counselors to find families in the area that are in need of that. And generally, we have about 20 kids that we take to Walmart and just go on a big shopping spree. A real good event. Trunk or treat, the city set for their trunk or treat on the 28th. Last I heard, it's going to be in the east parking lot of the high school over behind the visitor side. I know Ms. Parrott and them have been working diligently with that, trying to get everything moving on that. It's grown every year. I expect nothing but the best this year, so. During the month, we will also have quite a bit of active shooter, the laser training going on at the schools. So if you see a large presence there in after hours, weekends, where they're doing the state laser training. We're also bringing in other agencies, Midwest City, OCCC College, a couple other agencies are coming in to train with us. Our instructors, we have the instructors on staff, and we're hosting it, so we're bringing them in from the outside also to help train them alongside our guys. Any questions you have for me now? Yep.
Backtrack just a second. You said the McDonald's was on the 17th. That's a Tuesday, is that correct?
Yes, 5 p.m. to 8.
Tuesday night, 5 to
Yes.
8. Okay, I just
5
want to
to
make
8.
sure I heard
Any
that right.
proceeds will be going to our Shop with a Cop.
Okay, putting it in my phone.
Any idea, do we need to tell them we're here for Shop
Good.
with a Cop, or is it automatic? I'm sorry? Do we have to tell them we're here for Shop with a Cop, or is it automatic?
No, a portion of all proceeds, a portion of it will go to Shop with a Cop, plus we'll be selling cute dog sheets. $50 value for $5. All that $5 goes to Shop with a Cop.
And it's only from 5 to 8 p.m.? Okay.
Drive-through or dine in, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
And
sounds
Chief-
good.
Chief, we have a lot of our officers trained for the mentally ill, for the different.
Yes.
Are you continuing to send our police force to that training?
Yes, it's crisis intervention training. You can tell when you see a lot of them out there, a lot of them wear the epaulets that say CIT on their epaulets on their shirt, and that is a crisis intervention training. We have, at my last check, about 80% of the department through that training, and my goal is to be 100% of the department through that, and we will have that by spring.
Because it definitely seems like that's probably one of the main things that helps our.
Yes, we are on track to be 100% participation in that training.
All right.
Anything else for me?
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Move on to item number 14, purchase 7 vehicles by police department. Discussion, consideration, possible action, approve with modifications, or deny the purchase of 7 vehicles for the police department in an amount not to exceed $480,000. This purchase will be for 5 2023 F-150 police responders and 2 2024 Ford Expeditions. All vehicles will be purchased at or below the state contract pricing through Bob Moore Ford. This amount includes all upfitting of emergency equipment, radars, and safety equipment required. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
This is the important continuation of our long project here. so
Correct.
It's nice to get this done. And the other part I want to make sure of is that we need to divest of our old vehicles, because or else we're going to keep increasing our insurance costs. And so,
I have 4 recently been on the downline of the 2014 Tauruses, the black and whites. There's one that's been on a downline for quite some time, which makes 5, because the engine went out of it. But I have 4 that have been in a position where I can't put them on the road, they're unsafe, and they're all 2014s, high mileage, mechanical problems.
So all of those would be ideal to just
Yes,
put onto the.
you're gonna see them
put
on
onto
a surplus or an auction or something like that, yes.
Thank
It's
you.
coming.
Thank you, Chief. All right, motion and a second. Let's take the vote. Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye, the motion carries. Number 15, FEMA Center for Domestic Preparedness Training, out-of-state travel training for 2 police officers. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny the out-of-state travel and training for 2 police officers, Officer Matthew Lisenby and Officer Chris Griggs, to attend the FEMA Center for Domestic Preparedness Training. The training is a 3-day class located in Anniston, Alabama, from November 5th through November 10th, 2023. This training will be in field force operations with instruction in protest types and actions, legal considerations, responsibilities of mobile field force teams, and crowd control methods. FEMA will pay for the coursework, airfare, ground transportation, lodging, and meals for the duration of the training. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the domestic preparedness training as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Item number 16 is appointment of city attorney employment agreement. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny appointment of Mueller, Wheeler and Associates, PLLC, as city attorney, authorize mayor to sign an employment agreement with Mueller, Wheeler and Associates, PLLC. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the appointment of Mueller, Wheeler and Associates, PLLC, as city attorney, authorize mayor to sign an employment agreement with Mueller, Wheeler and Associates, PLLC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Welcome aboard. Our attorney is officially Mueller, Wheeler and Associates.
From Sherry and I both, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Moving on to item number 17. Well,
Are we going to do,
let's,
there was the loyalty oath and those things. Are we going to do those things
No.
tonight? No.
it's in the contract. It's in the contract. Okay. I would. Nice try, JD. Let's move on. I would entertain a motion to recess to Dale City Municipal Services Authority.
Make a motion, we recess to DCMSA.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
We are now recessed to Dale City Municipal Services Authority. I call the meeting to order for October 2nd, 2023. Melissa, would you call the roll?
Trustee Gandy.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Finch.
Here.
Trustee Dean.
Here.
And Chairman Eason.
Chairman is here. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak to the Municipal Services Authority on a non-agenda item? Any trustees have any non-agenda items? Seeing none, moving on. Manager's report.
Date, if I can find it here. Well. Oh, the ComCD Fish Fry is coming up on the 13th. Correct, Mr. Dean? So.
Correct.
Please make sure that you all sign up. The notice of gathering has already been listed, but we want to make sure if you all attend, it starts promptly at 11 o'clock. Is that correct? 11:30?
I believe 11.
Okay.
And Pam is the designated lifesaver at the fish fry. It's you. Moving on. Item number 5 is minutes. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve minutes of the regular meeting of DCMSA of September 18th, 2023. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Trustee Gandy?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Finch?
Aye.
Trustee Dean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries. Item number 6 is discussion only, project update on AMI water meters. Discussion, consideration, possible action, approve or deny, holding a discussion only regarding an update on the upcoming AMI water project. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve holding a discussion on the AMI water meter project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Trustee Finch?
Aye.
Trustee Dean?
Aye.
Trustee Gandy?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries. The discussion is now open. Brittany, are you leading the charge on this?
I am. We don't have much to update tonight. This is going to be quick. I'll just throw out some numbers. As of today, we have approximately 3,300 meter lids drilled. We have about 1,800 meters in the ground. They started in Zone 1, and evidently those are the oldest meters in the city, and so the boxes and the valves and things like that have been a little difficult. Is that a good word? So that slowed them down just a little bit. We have come up with a plan of attack to make up for that time. We will have 3 crews in the city beginning next week, tomorrow. So that 1 crew of 2 will stay in Zone 1 and keep working on that. 1 crew will be in Zone 2 drilling meter lids, and then the 3rd crew will be in Zone 2 actually replacing the meters. So we will have 3 crews of 2 out around the city. I do want Chris DeRoy to update you on a couple issues that we're running into just to make you aware.
So as Brittany said, Zone 1, it's the older piping and stuff like that. Where we've run across a few issues is as they're changing these out, we're coming across a lot of the valves that didn't work very well in the past or anything. And it's something that we did see coming, and we did place a large order for new valves and stuff like that early on. We are running into a little bit of supply issue. We do have valves and stuff coming, but even the manufacturer is several weeks out. So we've got several parts to change out that we're getting in there, and we're changing a lot of stuff out. The valves are the main ones that we're having to wait a little bit of time on. Some of the other parts, I've actually got a lot of parts coming next week that I'll be able to get changed. So in the meantime, there are going to be a few meter leaks that do happen. We still want people reporting them, but we are aware of them. We are having to let some of them leak a little bit until we get some of them parts in to replace them. It's on our side, so it's not running through the meter. It's not running their utility bill up or anything. I do have some set to a side for emergencies only in case there is an issue where it has to be changed right then to keep the customer with service. We're not going to have anybody out of service. So we'll dig something up and we'll replace it with a whole different type of part. So just to kind of update you a little bit, there are some supply issues on some of the stuff.
Comprehensive list of the ones.
Yes, we are keeping a list on everything. I've got spreadsheets made and everything, keeping a list on everything that needs to come, we need to go back to.
Or if it's a leak that could potentially cause property damage, things like that, that is going to be a higher priority. If it's running down the street a little bit, if it has to wait 2 weeks until we can get those parts in, we will come back around to them. But property damage, that is always going to be a high priority fix.
Have we looked into other suppliers for the,
I've actually checked, I've exhausted all my options in Oklahoma and started reaching out nationwide and having some of my vendors that are nationwide vendors, they're out of parts too. I'm literally calling the manufacturers and asking them if they can find some of these parts, if they know any places that they might have an abundance of them where they can get some back. I've even reached out to them. It's a part that's not commonly used as much anymore as what it is. And what it is, it's a flare fitting. We replace it, but we leave the old flare there, and we're able to screw it on real quick, get them back in service. Not a whole lot of places use a flare fitting anymore, so it's not a high production type of part that they produce. like I said, everything that we put in now isn't even that part. It's a very common part now, but to replace some of the older stuff, we went with a newer style valve that just screws right in. That way we don't have to put a customer out of service for any long period of time, 30 or 40 minutes. We can do it in 5 with the part that we're trying to get in. So.
All right, very good.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Brittany, I'm going to have a question for you.
I knew you would. Oh, okay.
Okay. Any further trust input?
Why, yes, Brittany. On the water bills, it talked about the bulk trash pickup, and it said it by ward. And so people think in wards as being Ward 1 instead of water bill ward. So
Zone?
zone.
We have it broken down by zone.
And so that's getting, so just for the thought is if, make sure we don't use the word ward, if it's being.
Did we use ward somewhere?
So somebody's come up with that part and they might have just thought zone and thinking that again, it's by your, by your ward zone, water zone.
I will say that we did not get inundated the way that I thought we would. I did have someone bring it to my attention that on my initial notification, I did not address what was going to happen for those that were in Zone 1, whose month should have been September. We went back, we clarified that. We've had a few calls, but not as many as I thought we would. More importantly, we've not had complaints. We've not had, utilities has not been getting bogged down the way that we originally anticipated. So I'm going to take that as a really good thing.
I think that the problem is it's a great thing to seem like that, but basically it turns out like we have it kind of, if I can bring up the website, kind of like we had the website that's not out there to let you know that, wait, I got to type in .net Vice. And so have we tried to send out a blurb to each one of the neighborhood watch associations so they can put it in their newsletters? That we can do
I've
different.
not sent them anything on paper. I connect with all the neighborhood watch groups on Facebook, so
Oh.
I can say that they are aware. I do know that they're aware.
Ron,
And then the question would be is can we make it, right now you got to break out your decoder ring and figure out if it, are you in this, is your number, which they have to
Right.
find a number, is this part. Could we not have done it by square mile and say that, Del Air square mile is this month?
So we looked at that, and Councilman Gandy and I had this conversation as well, and we discussed it in length. And what I can say is I know that this looks confusing, but I can assure you that we have spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure out the best way to break this down. By saying a square mile, that might make sense to you because you live on that street, right? You know. But what happens when they call into utility billing and they go, well, what square mile do I live in? And you have someone who's trying to figure out on a map and they're going, well, I don't know. Well, then
Well, we would know what the address, the person down in Water,
right,
who's
but
ever taken
unless
that call.
we have a map that shows every
You guys-
address.
Right, but you have Google Maps that you could type in 4741 Spiva and know that it's in this square mile.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
this-
say that we probably talked for an hour and a half about every option, and I was on board with you that this
Right.
is, but everything that I threw at her and everything that we discussed, in the end, it just needed to go out there and we needed to try something, and this is the least likely to fail.
And that's what I'm saying is if you haven't got calls and it is getting to be our time for the bulk trash pickup, then there's something wrong, that the people haven't figured it out yet. So no call or minimal calls is not that it's successful, it's unsuccessful that we haven't got the word out to the right people to know that.
Well, but
So-
also
Okay,
we're
this is
also on the
dragging on.
second day of we're on the second day of the month, so of October, right? So they've got up until What is the last day that someone could call to have their trash picked up in October? Probably.
October 31st.
So
We will
October-
take it all the way up to the
Okay,
last day of
so
the month.
we have, I mean, we're at the very beginning of the month, so I think that let's give it at least
few more
a couple of months and
Yeah.
see, the word will
Let
get
it
out.
ride.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Brittany.
Okay.
I make a motion.
I would entertain the motion to adjourn to the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund.
Make a motion that we adjourn to the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. What are you saying? We skipped you. Yeah, we're gonna finish this, then we'll come back and get. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Gandy.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. We now are adjourned to the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund because DCDA has executive session. Oh, I got you. Bye. Call to order the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund. Melissa, would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Gandy.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Finch.
Here.
Trustee Dean.
Here.
And Chairman Eason.
Chairman is here. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address the OMRF on non-agenda items? Any trustees have anything non-agenda? Moving on, item number 4, minutes, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve minutes of regular meeting of OMRF of April 3rd, 2023. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Trustee Gandy.
Aye.
Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Trustee Finch. Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries. Item number 5 is a retirement application. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve city employee Brian Stein receiving a normal retirement from the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund per request from employee. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the retirement.
Second that.
It wasn't in the Dropbox. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Trustee Gandy.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Finch.
Aye.
Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion is carried. Any further committee input? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn to the Economic Development Authority.
Make a motion, we adjourn to DCEDA.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Trustee Gandy.
Aye.
Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Trustee Finch.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are now adjourned to the Dale City Economic Development Authority. There you are, ma'am.
This is the Dell City Economic Development Authority. Melissa, will you call roll, please?
Trustee Gandy.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Dean.
Here.
Trustee Eason.
Here.
And Chairwoman Finch.
Here. Do we have any public input at this time?
No.
Mayor, you cleared the house. Any trustee input? Nothing? Number 4, managers report.
One item to report, we have a new boba tea shop coming into the TIF district called Feng Cha. We met with them a few weeks ago and come up with a couple of ideas for them and to make sure we get their permits and everything taken care of. But we are excited to welcome them to the city, and we will have a grand opening with the chamber in the coming weeks.
Cool.
Where's the location?
Right next to Volcano Sushi and Pho 54.
Okay,
Welcome to the city.
yes. Number 5, consent docket. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve the following items by unanimous consent with one motion. A, minutes of September 18th, 2023, regular meeting of DCEDA. Approve minutes of the regular meeting of DCEDA of September 18th, 2023. Item B, budget amendment. Approve budget amendment for fiscal year 2023-2024 as shown in Exhibit A to DCEDA agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
I mean, items A and B. I apologize.
Amend my second.
Okay. Any discussion? Take a vote. Trustee Gandy?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Eason?
Aye.
Trustee Dean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Item 6, executive session. Purchase or appraisal of real property. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny recessing to executive session pursuant to the Oklahoma Meeting Act 25, Oklahoma Statute 301 et seq. For purpose of a discussion concerning the purpose or appraisal of real property pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statute 307B3. Counselor, do we have items that merit for executive session?
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much.
Make a motion that we go into joint executive session with the Del City City Council.
Second.
Okay, take a vote. Trustee Gandy?
Aye.
Trustee Eason?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Dean?
Aye.
And chair votes aye.
Make a motion that we recess to the Del City City Council meeting.
Aye. Second.
Second.
All right, take a vote. Trustee Gandy?
Aye.
Trustee Dean? Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Eason?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Here you go, Mayor.
Thank you. We now resume the Del City City Council meeting, and we're at item number 17, executive session, pending claims and actions. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny recessing to executive session pursuant to Oklahoma Open Meeting Act 25 OS 301 for purpose of discussion concerning confidential matters pertaining to pending investigations, claims, and actions pursuant to 25 OS 307B4, as the council on the advice of attorney has determined that disclosure will seriously impair the ability of the council to process the claim or conduct a pending investigation or litigation in the public interest. City attorney, does this merit an executive session?
Mayor, yes, it does.
I would entertain a motion to recess to executive session.
Make a motion that we recess to executive session concurrently with DCEDA.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Gandy?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Finch?
Aye.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. We are now recessed to executive session.